Finding a new laptop to start the next school year or college off on the right foot is harder than it sounds, but it really shouldn't be this complicated because you're not asking for that much, right? You want something lightweight, powerful enough for taking notes, doing assignments, or browsing the web smoothly, with a camera for video calls, a few USB and HDMI ports, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, good battery life, and a price that won't break the bank. Well, if that's exactly what you're looking for, you're in the right video, because today we're checking out the 7 best laptops for students in terms of value for money on the market right now. I've ranked them from lowest to highest price, so stick around until the end to find out which laptop best fits your needs and your budget. Coming in at number 7, we have the HP 15, one of the cheapest models in this entire video, making it ideal if you're looking for one of the best value for money laptops. Starting with the display, you get the typical size for most laptops, a 15.6-inch IPS panel with full HD resolution and 250 nits of brightness. That's perfect for indoor use, but keep in mind that it can feel a little limited when studying outdoors, like in a park or the backyard. Inside, it packs an AMD Ryzen 5 processor, 16 GB of R5 RAM, 1 TB of SSD storage, and something that's especially nice at this price: Windows 11 Home comes pre-installed. Connectivity is solid too, with 2 USB-A 3.0 ports, 1 USB-C port, HDMI, and a headphone jack. But there's one possible downside you should keep in mind. There's no wired Ethernet port. That said, if you normally use Wi-Fi anyway, this probably won't affect you very much. As for battery life, it has a 41 watt-hour battery, which should give us around 7 hours without having to worry about finding an outlet. And when it comes to weight, it's right around average, weighing 1.59 kilograms. That said, if you want a little more power, there's another version in this same HP family with a better processor, the AMD Ryzen 7, and twice the RAM, with 32 gigabytes for just $30 more at the time I'm recording this video. However, keep in mind that it comes without an operating system, which is why there's such a small price difference. Still, it's a very interesting option if you already have Windows, or you know where to buy it cheaply and don't mind installing it yourself. At number 6, we have the Asus Vivobook 15. It's ideal if you want to spend as little as possible while still getting a laptop with an efficient processor, perfect for taking notes, doing assignments, and browsing the web with lots of tabs open. Just like the previous one, it has a 15.6-inch IPS display with full HD resolution and 250 nits of brightness, so it's perfect for indoor use. But keep in mind that it will be a little limited outdoors under direct sunlight. Inside, unlike the previous HP, which had an AMD processor, this Asus uses an Intel Core 5, but it has the same 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of SSD storage, and Windows 11 Home pre-installed. Connectivity is more than enough too, with 4 USB ports, 1 USB-C, and 3 USB-A, 2 of which are 3.2 and 1 of which is 2.0, plus HDMI and a headphone jack. However, just like the previous one, there's no wired Ethernet port. Now, there's one important detail that almost no review mentions about this model, and that's why you should subscribe before you forget. Because on this channel, we tell you everything, both the good stuff and the not so good stuff. Yes, it does have a USB-C port, but keep in mind that it's data only, meaning you can't use that port to charge the laptop or output an image to an external monitor. That said, don't worry about the display output because it does have built-in HDMI that lets you do it perfectly. As for battery life, it has a 42 watt-hour battery, slightly more than the HP we just looked at, so you should get around 7 to 7.5 hours. And when it comes to weight, it's also around average, although it's a little heavier than the previous one, coming in at 1.7 kilograms. And if you're wondering about a more affordable alternative in the same Asus lineup, there's a Go version of this same Vivobook, but keep in mind that it has half the storage and a lower-end processor, so I'd only go for it if your budget doesn't allow you to get its bigger brother. In 5th place, we have the Acer Go 15, one of the most typical laptop models among students. I even had one myself back in the day, so it's the ideal option if you want a well-established brand without any surprises. Just like the previous models, it has a 15.6-inch Full HD display, but this time it comes with an IPS panel featuring comfy view anti-glare technology and 220 nits of brightness. Inside, it has an Intel Core 7 with 10 cores. However, even though it also comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM, this time it's DDR4, an older generation of RAM. It also has a 1 terabyte SSD and Windows 11 Home pre-installed. That said, when it comes to connectivity, even though it has Wi-Fi 6, its Bluetooth is version 5.0, which is a little older than the rest of the laptops on this list. And as for the ports, we can't exactly say it's loaded, but it doesn't fall short either, with one USB-A port and one USB-C port, both 3.2, plus an HDMI output. And in this case, there's a nice advantage. The USB-C port does support both charging and video output. As for battery life, it has a 53 watt-hour battery, the largest we've seen so far. However, because it has a more powerful processor, real-world battery life ends up between 5 and 10 hours, so it's not the best choice if battery life is your #1 priority. That said, it's the lightest one we've seen so far, weighing just 1.5 kilograms. That brings us to the #4 spot, where we have this Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 3, an ideal laptop if you're willing to spend a little more in exchange for a super complete machine, although you need to watch out because there's one important detail that a lot of people don't know about. You can buy it without realizing it, and then the tears begin. On the outside, it has a 15.3-inch WXGA IPS panel, meaning you get a slightly higher resolution that gives you more vertical space for studying, along with 300 nits of brightness, the highest we've seen so far. Inside, it has the surprise processor of this video, an AMD Ryzen 7, a very recent chip with 8 cores capable of reaching 4.8 GHz, making it more powerful than any of the processors we've seen so far. You get 16 gigabytes of DR5 RAM, 1 terabyte of SSD storage, and Windows 11 Home already installed. Connectivity is also one of the most complete here, with 2 USB-A ports, 1 USB-C port, HDMI, a headphone and microphone jack, and even an SD card reader. As for battery life, it's also one of the best, with a 50 watt-hour battery that gives us up to 10 hours of battery life. And the best part is that it has rapid charge technology, a fast charging feature that can give you up to 2 extra hours of battery life with just 15 minutes of charging, making it perfect if you're the kind of person who tends to forget to charge your laptop. And when it comes to weight, it comes in at 1.59 kilograms, which puts it roughly in the average range for laptops in this category. Plus, as some extra details, I have to highlight that it has a physical webcam shutter for added privacy and support for Windows Hello, meaning facial unlocking, something we haven't seen on any other laptop in this top 7. Now, just like I mentioned at the beginning, there's one important potential downside. It doesn't include a charger, so you'll have to buy one separately. That said, you can get one for less than $20 on Amazon, so once you know about it, it's not really a big deal. I'll also leave a link to the charger in the description in case you end up going with this Lenovo. Personally, I think it's priced very competitively, and honestly, if I had to buy a laptop today, this would probably be the one I'd pick. Now we're entering the podium with the Galaxy Book 4, an ideal laptop for all the Samsung fans out there who want an ultra-thin laptop with good performance and plenty of connectivity. Its display has what we've been seeing throughout the list, a 15.6-inch screen with full HD resolution, but it's slightly above average when it comes to brightness, reaching up to 300 nits. Inside, it has a capable processor, a 13th generation Intel Core i7, along with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of SSD storage. But where this laptop really stands out is connectivity, with 2 USB-A ports, 2 USB-C ports, HDMI, a micro SD card reader, and something none of the other models have, an Ethernet port for connecting to the internet over a wired connection. As for the battery, giving us between 7 and 10 hours of battery life, and when it comes to weight, it's also one of the lightest, coming in at just 1.5 kilograms. In second place, with the silver medal, we have the new 512GB MacBook Neo, the entry point into Apple's laptop lineup. It's ideal for Apple fans who don't want to spend more than $1,000 on their new computer and want an ultra-light laptop running the Mac operating system. It has a 13-inch display with liquid retina technology and 500 nits of brightness, well above everything we've seen so far, making it perfect for studying outdoors. Inside, it has the A18 Pro chip, 8GB of RAM, 512GB of storage, and one detail that the 256GB version doesn't have: Touch ID built into the power button so you can unlock it with your fingerprint. That said, it's not perfect, because when it comes to connectivity, it's one of the weakest options in this top, as is often the case with Apple devices with just 2 USB-C ports and a headphone jack. In other words, there's no HDMI port or USB-A port, so if you want to connect a projector, you'll absolutely need an adapter. In exchange, it's one of the few laptops here with the more advanced Wi-Fi 6E standard and the only one with Bluetooth 6. Its capacity is just 36.5 watt-hours, the smallest battery Apple has in its laptops. But it's important to point out that it's the most efficient one in the entire ranking, since it can reach up to 16 hours without needing an outlet if you enable power saving mode with the brightness turned down. At just 1.23 kilograms, it's one of the lightest laptops on the entire list. And finally, taking the #1 spot with the gold medal, we have the Asus Zenbook 14 OLED. It's ideal if you don't mind spending a little more in exchange for a laptop that impresses you from every angle. It's extremely powerful for a mid-range laptop, and it's super lightweight, even lighter than Apple's MacBook Neo. It has a 14-inch WUXGA display, slightly narrower but taller than usual, with a resolution of 1920 by 1200. On top of that, it has an incredible 400 nits of brightness and something none of the previous laptops have: OLED technology, which gives us much higher than average image quality. Inside, it packs an Intel Core Ultra 7, the most powerful processor in this entire top, along with 16GB of RAM, 512GB of SSD storage, and Arc 14 OT graphics, capable of running even lighter games. Connectivity also brings something none of the previous models offer: 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, so you can charge the laptop, connect an external monitor, and several peripherals at the same time using a single cable. It also includes a USB-A port and HDMI 2.1. As for battery life, it also breaks records with a 75 watt-hour capacity. However, because it has a more powerful processor, you don't see as much of an advantage as you might expect, with battery life landing between 8 and 12 hours. That's pretty decent, but not incredible. That said, when it comes to weight, it's #1 in this top, even beating the MacBook Neo since it weighs just 1.22 kilograms. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and let me know which laptop you like the most or which one is your favorite. That's all for today, and I'll see you in the next video.